everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm here to bring the Astrology Insight for the week of November 9th. On Sunday, November 9th, we have Mercury stationing retrograde in Sagittarius. On Tuesday, November 11th, we have Jupiter stationing retrograde in Cancer. On Wednesday, November 12th, we have Mercury retrograde conjunct Mars in Sagittarius. On Sunday, November 9th, we have Mercury stationing retrograde at 1:01 p.m. Central Time, and Mercury will be retrograde until November 29th. Mercury is going to go retrograde from 6 degrees Sagittarius all the way back to 20 degrees Scorpio. So we want to look in your own chart and see where do you have 6 degrees Sagittarius and where do you have 20 degrees Scorpio, and know that that's the area of your life that you're going to experience this Mercury retrograde. Now, when it comes to Mercury retrograde, we always consider all the general topics that Mercury represents, which are travel, which are marketplace, which is communication, education. So we can expect to see some Mercury retrograde things, which means reviewing, reevaluating, rethinking, any of the words. We can really understand that that is what this Mercury retrograde is going to be about in those areas. Now, if we want to look and see what does it mean, Mercury in Sagittarius, this is really looking at our own belief system. This is really looking at what we believe our life philosophy is, what do we believe the meaning of life is. As well, when we think of Mercury and Scorpio, it's what gives us power and what do we mentally give our power to? How are we merging with other people in ideas to make some things happen in the world? And so these are some things we want to consider while Mercury is retrograde, is what is our life philosophy? What do we believe we are here to do? What do we believe life is all about? And we want to really recognize how do we give our energy and power to other people's ideas so that they grow, or how do we merge in power with people to make some strong things happen in the world, merging our ideas and everything like that. You know, Mercury and Scorpio can also bring up some intense feelings and emotions as far as where our mind is at, things that have been maybe hiding from us that are now coming to the surface about our emotions and anything like that. And so those are the things we want to consider while Mercury is retrograde. But like I said, we want to always consider the things, the general topics that Mercury considers, which is travel, education, marketplaces, communication, and all of the areas of those things. So pay attention to those because we can expect some delays. So if you're traveling in this time period, just know that if you get any hiccups on your travels, this could be a thing that happens in that time. And if you get any orders that come back to you, if you have a company, or if you finally get that order you've been waiting for, that could be something. Mercury retrograde just is a time when things come back into our lives, where things have to be redone. So it is a time where we don't necessarily want to start new things. We want to finish up things that we've already started. On Tuesday, November 11th, we have Jupiter stationing retrograde in Cancer at 10:41 a.m. Central Time, and Jupiter will be retrograde in Cancer until March 10th, 2026. Jupiter is going to be retrograde from 25 degrees Cancer to 15 degrees Cancer. So go ahead and look at your chart and locate where you have 25 degrees Cancer to 15 degree Cancer, and know that this area of your life is where Jupiter is going to retrograde over. And so we want to pay attention to this area. When we think of Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, what I've been saying about Jupiter in Cancer is it's really helping us connect to a deeper and more profound meaning of our life. It's connecting to that sense that your life is sacred, your life is divine, and in fact, all life is sacred, all life is divine. And Jupiter has been in Cancer since July, and so we've had this opportunity to really begin to connect with, you know what, I think there's a deeper and more profound meaning for why I am here. Now, it's been a tricky time with Jupiter in Cancer because we've had Saturn in Aries, which has been square to that Jupiter in Cancer. And so there's been this strong tension between limiting our identity, limiting our freedom, being able to feel like we can freely move and be fearless in life. That Saturn in Aries has been kind of blocking that energy. So while Jupiter is in Cancer saying there's more to why you are here, connect to that sacred part of your life, expand upon your family, expand upon your community, make your life more safe and secure, make your community more safe and secure. Pay attention to your family. You know, this is a time where when Jupiter's in Cancer, it really says expand upon safety and security for your family, for your community, for your loved ones. That is what is very important. So I hope during this Jupiter retrograde, we really get to connect to a deeper sense of needing more safety, needing more security, and beginning to provide that for not only our own personal selves, but also our own community, our countries, and the world at large, recognizing that life is sacred. Life has a meaning, and we can't just skim over the top of that and pretend that we can bulldoze down things. So hopefully during this Jupiter retrograde, we will be able to see some things come to light, bringing more justice, because that's also what Jupiter represents. Jupiter represents justice, truth, faith, religion, judges, and all of those things. So hopefully we can begin to see a transformation and perhaps more enlightenment in people's lives, that they begin to recognize there is a deeper and more profound meaning to not only our own personal lives, but to every single human living being's life. And hopefully that is what that Jupiter in Cancer retrograde will help us bring up, because it'll help us relook, reevaluate, and re-understand how we need to provide safety and security for our community, our loved ones, and our family. On Wednesday, November 12th, we have Mercury retrograde conjunct Mars in Sagittarius. And so Mercury is not moving that fast right now, is still coming out of that stationing retrograde. And now we have it conjunct Mars, which Mars is a very irrational, rash, intense planet. So we need to be aware of today is any rash decision making, anything that we just kind of feel like pressured to do, pressured to say. We want to double down on being more conscious and more cautious, because Mercury is retrograde and Mercury is in Sagittarius, a sign that it does not do the best, because Mercury is very scattered in Sagittarius. And so when we have Mars conjunct that Mercury, it kind of says that as we are scattered, uncertain, feeling ungrounded, unstable, we have this Mars energy that says, make a decision, make it happen. I'm right here. I need to do it right now. And so we need to be very aware today to just kind of slow down. Don't feel rushed. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it, and know that things might come back into your life that are just like, you know what, I think I've already gone through this. I think I've already decided I'm not going to move rashly. I'm not going to do things that are ungrounded. And so keep that in mind today. There's no rush. Take it easy, slow down, and try to be very conscious of things you say and things you act upon. If you'd like to schedule a personal reading, you can contact me at 11kaivarose33.com.